Our tax appeal this year focused on congenital heart disease, which is children that are born with damaged hearts, which has a varying degree of severity. And the little girl, the case study that we used, her name was Inea. And we really focused around her as sort of a little heart warrior, which is what her mum, Jay, titles her as. And Inea was born with a very severe heart defect. So she went through numerous heart surgeries and eventually had a heart transplant before she was 5. So she's been through an awful lot. And I think that she is a huge part of the success of this campaign. When it's our major appeals, so tax and Christmas, we do really try to find those stories that are undeniably emotive and are going to speak to a lot of people. It's also good to have the advice of people who've worked on proven successful campaigns to say, actually, this will work really well because of X, Y, and Z. It's really refreshing with both Change&Co and with Tone. I always feel like we're in very safe hands. The whole way through, we felt really confident and quietly confident in the story and the packs that we put together and all of the creative. And we felt like it was really inspiring and that it did show the need and it would encourage donors to act. For this appeal, which I think is also a really crucial factor in the success, we actually had 3 waves. So wave 1 was sort of our biggest pack. It had the most elements in there, which is what we usually do. But we worked quite hard on developing our mid-value pack as well and really sort of specializing that. So I think that there was a clearer distinction between our standard value packs and our mid-value packs. So our standard value, we also did an envelope test. So we tested a plain logo only versus a really beautiful sort of overprint DLX. We actually found that they're pretty much tied. So I think that's what I usually find with envelope tests as well. I always think, oh, no, it'll be a really obvious difference, but it doesn't seem to be. So yeah, I think for us, it's kind of like, oh, well, maybe we just go out with the envelope that's the most sort of attention grabbing. For our standard value pack, we had our 4-page letter, we had a double-sided RM, so a lift on the back, just to sort of reinforce everything that's been in the pack. We developed one of Inea's drawings because her dream is set to be a heart doctor when she grows up and take care of other little kids who are born with damaged hearts, which is very sweet. So we actually got her to draw her dream hospital. And we developed that into a really lovely lift that sort of showed some lovely images of Inea sort of through the years and her beautiful drawing. And we did actually send her a little lab coat as well, a little Victor Chang lab coat. So there's a photo of her wearing that. So she's an honorary member of the lab, which was very sweet. So I think that's all really sort of just beautiful content that donors just respond really well to. It's really genuine and authentic. And then we obviously had our sort of research side of things, which is a lot more rationally led, which in our mid-value pack, we really sort of amp that up a lot more, as they tend to be more rationally led. So that just sort of really focused on the really exciting research that Professor Sally Dunwoody is doing in congenital heart disease. And then we had our wave 2. We did a 2-page letter, another RM, and then wave 3 was our donor newsletter. But obviously that sort of focused on Inea. She was on the cover and we featured her and Sally as the lead article. And then we also featured all the other news from around the Institute. And again, double-sided RM. And what was really interesting is that looking at the results, there actually doesn't appear to be one wave that outperformed the others. So obviously in Australia, the phasing out checks is not supposed to happen until 2030, but we are finding that donors are starting to ask that question more. And some of them have said that they no longer have access to checks if their bank is not accepting them or they're not being provided with one anymore, with a checkbook anymore, that is. We have actively started placing lifts into our direct mail packs. And, the feedback that we had from that is that some donors did make the switch. We need to analyse how many consistent check users who've moved over, but we also found that some just won't. So I think that's obviously why it's important for us to sort of continue developing in the digital space as well. Yeah, it was a lot of pressure, but I think, from the team with Change&Co and Tone and our team internally here, everybody really, really just pushed hard for this one. And, the results kind of speak for themselves.